everyone. It's Danielle Marie from the One Realty here in Austin, Texas, where we take a data-driven, all-in-one approach to real estate. Well, it's happening as most people have been watching the market. We continue to see a decline in Austin's real estate market. Specifically, we're seeing a decline in the number of listings that are going pending, the number of sales, and we finally have probably hit our peak of prices for the year. So without further ado, I'm going to hop on. Every week, I like to summarize what is happening in the Austin real estate market, what are the changes week over week, and we can hop right into it. And if you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I can answer as we go along. First and foremost, what we're seeing is we have seen a dramatic increase in our number of active listings. So right now today, or this is as of, I always do a snapshot on Wednesday because new listings come on typically on the market on Thursday, and houses that have gone pending from the weekend end up kind of finalizing it on Tuesday or Wednesday. So with that being said, we have 3,913 homes on the market. Kind of to put that in perspective of, hey, how much has this changed? I have to go all the way back to June of 2016. In June of 2016, we had 4,299 homes that were at any one point in time active on the market in Austin, Texas. So it's been a significant amount of time since we've had this inventory. If we go and we look even past June of 2016, the next time that we really start seeing numbers that are above was in 2010. So we go 2009 to 2010, which can be expected because people were not buying as much after the crash in 2008. So with that being said, we do have significant high inventory levels. With high inventory levels right there, you can also expect to see houses sitting longer on the market. So you're seeing our average days on market, we're at 73 days. Our median is at 54. What does that mean? Well, if you are buying the house and you see a house come on the market right away, that's one thing to think about is when a house has been on the market for a long time, there's been a lot of buyers who've seen it and have chosen to go past it. The house comes on the market that weekend, depending on how you feel, might require you to act a little quicker. And I say this in the sense of just to get in contact with that agent, because what I'm seeing right now is I'm seeing a lot of buyers on the sidelines and they're waiting for the one. They're waiting for the right house to hit the market. That being said, if you find a house that's been on the market for 54, 75 days, like our average days on market, our median, this might be a very nice buying opportunity. For sellers, keep in mind what's going on in your area. This is a macro look at Austin's environment. You really want to hone in and look what is happening in the micro, what is happening close to where you're selling your home, as well as the square footage, the quality of your home, everything like that to see, hey, is my price really competitive? That being said, we're kind of hitting the peak in pricing and the peak in buyers. So we're probably going to see some downshift and see a higher escalation of the number of homes with a reduction in list price. Right now, almost 58% of the homes, so just shy of 58% of the homes, have had a price reduction. That is incredibly high. Last year, we're well over where we were in December of last year. It's early on in the season. The only way we're really going to see this number go down is either kind of two things. One, either we get buyers to start coming back, or two, is this second section down here, the listings that are put on hold, withdrawn, or expired. When those listings disappear, that's going to drop this down. It's also going to drop down your days on market. So we're just waiting for either sellers to actually make price drops and sell the houses to get them off the market, i.e. increase pending, or sellers to pull their houses from the market, and that's going to change it. The next thing we look at is how about our number of new listings? So you're going to see our number of new listings over the past 7 days, that has fallen. We fell by 342 last week. We're at 384. If we keep going, if we go back, you're going to see we didn't really get too high. We stayed in the 400s. We didn't really hit 500s. So that's kind of typical of what we're seeing right now. So to see that we had 342, that's kind of typical. We've not really seen a fall off. We're probably not going to see a fall off of listings. Typically that doesn't happen until like September timeframe. August, September is where we really see like a really big decrease in the number of listings that go live. That being said, we'll also kind of hit on our average price, and our median price continues to fall week over week. So you can see we're at to like 1.14. At our prime, we're at 1.25. So we've fallen over $100,000 for our average. Our median's fallen over 50,000 as well. Going down here, the next section that we just talked about is listings on hold, withdrawn, expired. Now, the reason I like to look at this is giving you an idea of what sellers are thinking in the market. If all of a sudden we see this surging, that means that sellers have started just to pull their house off the market for the time period. Some people also pull their house off the market. So let's say you do have a listing that's live and you want your days on market to go down. If you pull your house off the market and it's off the market for 90 days, now not on hold, but like if you withdraw your listing, that's going to restart your days on market. That being said, agents, good agent's going to see that the house has been on the market prior. It's just going to help you in the algorithms when it comes to like Realtor.com, Zillow, Trulia, all of those. It'll show up as a new listing. Here's where we start kind of getting into more not so great news for sellers. For buyers, this is actually fairly good news for you. Our number of pending listings, we dropped down to 950 for our total number of pending listings. So I think we've already sold our peak amount of homes this summer in Austin, meaning we're not going to see huge numbers of pending. We're not going to see huge numbers of sales. We're just going to continue to see this decline. With that being said, this is one of the most abysmal weeks that we've had as far as the number of new pendings that went. I do from Wednesday to Tuesday and see how many houses went pending. We had 161. Put it in perspective, last week was 206, or the prior week was 206. That is showing a big decline. Now, there was a lot of stuff going on this past weekend. So June 14th, on both sides of aisles and opinions, there was a lot of stuff happening. Could that have impacted it? Perhaps. We did see interest rates kind of drop down this past week, as well as we had everything going on with different countries all over the world and escalation. So that might have also played into the number of houses that went pending. Really to know, it's going to wait till next week. If we see this number, surge back up, that's a good sign. If we see it drop down, it's just going to kind of give us an indication of what is going to happen the rest of the year. That being said, our average price point, you can see at 852,000, our median price point 650 as far as what is going pending. When you see the list price, the reason our average list price is so high is we have multi-million-dollar houses that are hitting the market. Normally, we might not have seen a lot of them. Normally, they might end up on private networks. But because the buyers are so scarce, we're seeing a lot of these multi-million-dollar homes that would have been held off market. They're coming to market. So it is an opportunity for people to see a little bit more of the inventory that you might not normally see. As far as the price reductions, we're going to expect our pending ones. This is going to continue to climb. And this number of listings that are pending with a price reduction is going to climb because our active number of houses with a price reduction is also climbing. So if you're just joining me now, real quick summary of where we are. We've kind of hit almost our all-time high since June of 2016 as far as the number of active listings for sale here in Austin. Our days on market have completely shot up. The number of houses with price reductions were almost at 58%. And then we're going to roll right into so pending is our leading indicator. Closes, it's almost like a lagging indicator. So close is going to say what already happened with pending. So in the past 30 days, so I do a rolling 30 days, and this was as of the 18th, so as of Wednesday, we've had 812 houses close. Now, this was an increase by 17. Sometimes just having one extra day, whether it falls on a weekend versus non-weekend or a holiday versus non-holiday, it's going to kind of change this. Next week will probably be less because we just had Juneteenth and that was a holiday, so people did not have closings that day. With that being said, you can see our average sales price is started to drop again to $851. If you see that our pending price, you see our two pending prices here. This is interesting that they're very, very close. That being said, when we're seeing houses that are not closing at asking, which you're going to see right here, we're going to have close price to list price, so close price to what the houses are currently listed at, and close price to original list price. So what was it listed at before 58% of those homes had price reductions? That's going to give us an indication of probably some of these numbers that we're going to see up here. So you're seeing I like to say, look at the median versus looking at the average. And the reason is the average, you're going to have some people that still paid over. You're going to also have some individuals that got a steal, because there are steals out there. They got significantly under. They made it what we call a disrespectful offer. They said, seller, I like your house. I'm an investor, but in order for this house to work for me, this is the price I have to purchase it at. And some sellers are in a place where they have to accept it, or where they choose to accept it. You don't have to accept everything unless it's a foreclosure. That being said, you can see our median of close to list price is 98%. Our median of close to original list price is at 96%. Now, this is great. I'm giving you these numbers, but what you really want to do is we want to look at the data for the month. That's going to give us a clearer picture of what is happening over time in pending in Austin. So if we hop into what has happened over the month in June in Austin, Texas. So first and foremost, what we've sold, and this is year to date as of this morning, we've sold 475 homes here in June. To put it in perspective, here's what from 05 to 24, here is what we've historically sold in June. So it's historically, our average is at a little over 1,200. Same with our median. The most we ever sold was almost 18,000 in 2006. And then last year, we only sold 689. That being said, I do believe we will beat last year's. I think we'll probably be in the 700s. I don't think we'll go over 800 because we've started to drop down our number of pendings, but I think we'll be in the 700s. So we'll beat last year's, but not by a lot. We're still significantly under. So you can see here's our historical average, what percentage we're under the average, and then also that difference. So we would have to sell 756 more homes even to get to our average. That's not happening. With that being said, how does our price point look? So I have a couple different ways that we're going to look at this. We're going to look at year over year. We're going to look at month over month. And we're going to look at year to date. So this is from December, because I want to look at where did we perform since December. So year over year, we are already at a decline year over year. So June of 24 to June of 25. Our average sale, we're up by 2.2 thousand, but our median sale is down by 5,000. And so median really plays a big part in that. So I'm going to say overall, our closing as far as the dollar values has gone down. Now, I also, looking at that, the other interesting thing is I added this last week. I added square footage. So you can see that the houses on our median square foot is 2,361. And that is 209 square feet larger than last year. So you have to think about this. We're getting more house at a smaller price than even last year. So that's kind of indicative of, hey, the market is trending downward, and it's really leading into more of a buyer's market than a seller's market. If we look at month over month, so this is all of May's numbers. You can see we are down in May compared to May. So we're down 20,000 of where we closed out in May this year, 5,000 for our median. That's already under. And if we look at where we are, so we were going all the way up every year. This is the first month where our month over month has been negative. All of our other month over month, right here, you can see they've all been positive. If I go scrolling all the way back, our month over month is now going negative. Now, right now, if we were to stop where we are currently and we compare it to where we closed out in December, we are only up 0.5% for our average sales price. So we're up $4,000 compared to where we were in December. And our median, we're up 25,000. So our median is up by 4.1%. That being said, I feel like it's going to go down. It's going to go down significantly. There is a high probability that our average and our median sales price this year will end up lower by the time we get to the end of the year, because typically we see sales price go up during the spring and then they fall during the summer. So the only way we're really going to see anything major of change is if there is all of a sudden something crazy happens with rates and they drop significantly down, and all of a sudden we see a crazy influx of buyers, or some other phenomenon that causes buyers to come back to the Austin real estate market. With that, that is kind of where, if you are a buyer, taking advantage of this. I know some buyers just sitting on the sidelines and kind of watching what's happening. Also, when you're making an offer on a house, make sure to do a macro analysis. Is the house, what is the trend in the neighborhood? Is it trending downward? You want to follow that trend to see, hey, if it's going down in your asking offer, you can expect that your house price is going to go down. It's most likely going to go down, and this is every year. I can look at my house in June of every year, and I can look at my valuation again in November. Majority of times, it's kind of gone down, except for during those pandemic years of 20 to 2022 in the middle of May. So, but with that, my name is Danielle Fountain. I'm the founder of the One Realty here in Austin, Texas, where we take a data-driven, all-in-one approach to real estate. If you have any questions about buying or selling here in Austin, feel free to reach out. You can find me on X at Danielle at the_one_realty. You can find me on Instagram at Danielle_Taylor_Fountain. You can also go to www.theonerealty.com and find me there. But without further ado, I hope you guys have a phenomenal weekend. Enjoy if you're looking. If you're buying, enjoy the downward pressure on prices. If you're a seller, please, 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 please make sure to evaluate your data. With that, have a wonderful day.